Hey, Kendall here with BlackOvis, and I am talking Crispi boots, brand new changes for 2024 in the Lapponia family. And yes, I said family because Lapponia is now in multiple iterations. I've got 4 boots in front of me here, really 2. This is a pair, but one's been cleaned up and put on its Sunday best, and the other one is just field use. So I want to talk about the brand new Lapponia Lite from Crispi, and the Lapponia Lite is this guy right here. It's a shorter version of the original Lapponia, and the lacing is different, which is unique to the new Lapponia III versus the Lapponia II, and the sole is different from what will be the new Lapponia. So let me break down everything I just said, so that hopefully you get an idea of what you want to hone in on. If you've used the Lapponia in the past, like myself, I would say I'm probably a Lapponia disciple. This is the boot that I essentially use, let's call it 75 or 80% of the time. I have the luxury of having a few different pairs of Crispis, so I'll jump into a few different models as the season rolls on a little later. But as a bow hunter, this has become my go-to for just about anything, regardless of terrain. So this is the Lapponia. The Lapponia II, this one will be discontinued in 2024, and it is discontinued. There were some differential changes between the Lapponia and the new Lapponia III, and primarily the big story here is the outsole. The Lapponia II, as well as its predecessor Lapponia, as well as the Lapponia Lite, all use the, these two, the Lapponia Lite and the Lapponia II, use the Crispi claw sole, which, as you can see from a shape standpoint, in my opinion, is a little bit more of like a trail running or a very active shape. And the Crispi, or the Vibram, but they made it with Crispi, and now there are a few other companies I think that use this, not necessarily in the North American market, but the Crispi Mega Grip outsole is a deeper tread, and it's more rubber, and I think it's a little bit stickier rubber, just from the tactile feel and the performance. So the new Lapponia III has more rubber on the sole, a little bit more weight, and the new Lapponia III shares the lacing system that the Lapponia Lite has, which is they took out the lace loop. Obviously, it's not on the new Lapponia Lite, but the lace loop that was on the Lapponia II right here, and the locking loop that was right here at the bottom. The locking loop has now moved to the middle, which is right where it's at on the Lapponia Lite, and the lace loop is now gone, so the locking loop comes up to here. From a height standpoint, I've got, just for reference, the Mesa right here and the Ativa Mid. So Lapponia III is a little taller than Lapponia II, and that is primarily because the Mega Grip outsole and the Crispi claw sole have different depths of tread. And then you jump over to the Lapponia Lite, and you're just a little bit shorter, so it's 7-inch, 8-inch. This is still considered 8-inch, but it's probably, I would categorize it more as like an 8.5. And then you jump over to Mesa, which is a little bit short, just a hair shorter, and you jump over to Altitude, or excuse me, the Ativa Mid. So you can see the height difference. The Lapponia Lite comes in that category, in my opinion, as really a true hybrid light and fast, meaning it is not a tall boot. You're getting a little bit shorter if you want to, if you don't really need that additional support of that extra inch, and you want to get a little bit more breathability, a little bit more just adaptability and flex and feel. The Lapponia Lite honestly is right up your alley. All the same features that you found in the Lapponia II and Lapponia III. You've got a stretched nylon tongue. You got leather reinforcement down in the toe area, lacing all the way to the toe for just a real precise fit. Same fit and awesome feature as the Lapponia II and III, which means that a regular foot or a slightly wider foot is very favorable in Lapponia. If you've got a narrow foot, chances are you may not be madly in love with the Lapponia from the get-go or at first, so you probably are not going to be loving the Lapponia Lite if you do have a narrow foot. From a weight standpoint, let's fire up the scale. I'm going to look at Lapponia II, and that one comes into 1 pound, 4.2 ounces, and that's a size 10. In the 11.5, which is the size I run on the Lapponia Lite, 1 pound 6 ounces, so just a smidge heavier. Let me look at the left boot, 1 pound 6.5, so you're looking a couple ounces heavier in the Lapponia Lite. If you compare that to the Ativa Mid comes in at less than a pound, you're 15.9 ounces. That's on a size 8. And if you're looking at Lapponia III, just to give you all the weight specifications, this is a size 11, 1 pound 9 ounces, 9.6 ounces. So considerably heavier if you count, 4.5 ounces, considerably heavier than Lapponia II. And obviously we have some size differences here. So more or less, let's say 3 ounces difference here. And then just the new Lapponia Lite is going to be about 2.5 to 3 ounces lighter than the Lapponia III. So Lapponia Lite is brand new for 2024. I hope that this gives you a little bit of insight to size, to features, how it compares to Lapponia. Honestly, for me personally, if you would have talked to me, let's say 5 years ago, I would have been all in Lapponia Lite. This height, this feature is really what I was looking for, because I used to hunt a lot in trail running shoes or maybe a really lightweight kind of boot. I transitioned over to Nevada, which I loved, Colorado, which I loved, and I still use those from time to time. Found the Lapponia after a few people convinced me to become a believer. I absolutely flat out can't get along without this Lapponia. If there's one boot that I had to use, like one Crispi to do everything, and I could only choose one, I would probably still choose Lapponia. It'd be a tough battle between that and Nevada. But Lapponia Lite, I think, has its place if you're the type of hunter that you don't necessarily want the added height, don't necessarily think that you need it, you want a little bit more light and fast. And quite frankly, it's a great looking boot in this brown versus the gray, which I'm totally fine with. I think Lapponia Lite should be on your radar. If you'd like to get a hold of one of these pairs, we're gonna have them here on BlackOvis. Check the link below, you can link right to that. If you have any further questions, or maybe there's something I haven't answered, leave a comment below. Happy to jump on and answer those questions. I suspect you can see my enthusiasm for the Crispi boots and the Crispi brand. Absolutely love these, and I'm tickled to have been able to use these last fall. Looking forward to running these this spring. I'll probably jump into Lapponia III for the fall, my Colorado, and then up to Idaho for archery elk hunting. But I'll keep these Lapponia Lites on hand for those extra warm days and the days where maybe the ground's a little harder and I'm gonna be going light and fast. And I want to shave a few ounces on the feet so that over an entire day, I'm going to save a little bit of energy expelled. So appreciate you checking in. Glad that you take the time to watch this video and check out the brand new Lapponia Lite from Crispi.